Hey, what's going on, guys? It's David here from Genzio. We are in Singapore for Token2049, and I'm here with Monty of LCX. Monty, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, yeah, happy to be here, David.
Fantastic, man. How are you doing?
Well, we are in the hub of the crypto industry, it feels. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people are gathering here. So I'm excited what's up in the new topics here at Token2049.
Yeah, is this your first token that you're attending?
No, like plenty of times in the past. And, you know, the founder of Token2049 is a German. I'm also a German national. So I admire like how they could gather the crypto industry and grow. I think it is the most important and biggest event in the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just recently went to the one in Dubai. It was absolutely insane. Fantastic event. And Token just never seems to disappoint. Really doesn't. Right. And what about Singapore? Is this your first time in Singapore?
Not the first time in Singapore. Already 2018, when we started LCX, I was here talking to investors. We had been preparing our own token, utility token, LCX, and it was exciting times. And back then, we had been hosting a session at the Singapore FinTech Festival with the World Economic Forum and 15 central banks talking about central bank digital currencies. And back then already, they had been at a very advanced level of how TradFi could work with blockchain. And yeah, they had not been as progressive, like looking back on actually making it happen. But yeah, Singapore, I think, is a financial hub similar to where we are at in Liechtenstein.
Lovely. Now, for those who don't know, LCX is one of the fastest growing regulated exchanges in Europe. And I really would like to hear more about it from the source. So why don't you tell us a little bit about LCX and kind of your role with LCX?
Yeah, so I'm CEO and founder. Back in 2017, I decided to stop everything else and go all in crypto, move to the heart of Crypto Valley and incorporated the company in Liechtenstein, this little country next to Switzerland. So, and when I did that, I also stepped back in the entrepreneur seat because I had been an investor for many years. I'd been running a venture capital fund, had been investing in technology companies in Europe, Eastern Europe, Northern Europe, but also in Silicon Valley. And then back 2014, there was a friend of mine who said, you should look at Bitcoin. And as a fund, we couldn't invest, like we were not allowed.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to do some private investment. And then this friend, he's the son of Tim Draper, Adam Draper. He then invested in Coinbase early on, and they're on the board since then. So had been very early pioneers. And what it showed me as an institutional fund, we were sidelined back then. There were no rules, no custody regulation, and we couldn't invest. So when 2016 and 17, the first countries came up with some legal framework, and especially Liechtenstein, I jumped in and said, that's now the opportunity to combine the old and the new world. And since then, this had been at the core of the vision of what we've built.
Wow, fantastic, really. Now, for you, right, when you heard this for the first time, you should look into Bitcoin. What was your initial reaction?
Well, I was fascinated about blockchain, and I didn't know if Bitcoin will make it because back then it was $1,000. Then it dropped to 100, and everybody thought, like now,
this is going away.
90% drop, like no way. But I underestimated the economics, as we all know. But back then, it was still unclear if it's Bitcoin or like another one, like a fork. There had been all these forks back then, and everybody was competing. And ultimately, I think Bitcoin has the true advantage in USP. But even more importantly is really what blockchain can do to the financial monetary system, to tokenization of assets and commodities and everything. So I think there the future has not even been started yet.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, even at the rate that it's at right now, like to think it's not, it really is just the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, it is just the beginning. It really is. Yeah, cool. So we'll take a step back now and talk a little bit about yourself. You know, what were you doing before you got into this?
So I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I started my first company back at school in 1998, programming websites, and had been on a digital journey since then. I was lucky enough to then sell my company, become a business angel investor, and now I'm back in the entrepreneur seat. And what I always admired and thought, like, I don't have time to think about my fashion. So I can tell you a quick anecdote or story. When I started LCX, I just replaced my wardrobe with a pack of polos with our logo stitched in. And jeans and sneakers, and that's it. Basically, didn't have to think about working night and day on weekends for many years. 7 years now, more than 7 years. But just more recently, it's time to dress up again.
Yeah.
And I feel the industry.
But it's fun though.
It's fun. It's like we are maturing.
Yeah.
It's also the counterparties are different. Who we talk to right now, it's getting more serious, and crypto is growing up. And it's not only about meme coins and infrastructure anymore. It's really about the next evolution of finance as we know it.
Absolutely, and it is. It's the future of finance, and from traditional finance to where we are now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, LCX, I have a pretty good idea of what it stands for, but could you tell us what LCX stands for?
Yeah, so it stands for the Liechtenstein Crypto Assets Exchange. It's lcx.com and @LCX on Twitter, on X. And we've built now the fastest growing regulated exchange in Europe. We are compliant since day one, gained 8 of the blockchain licenses in Liechtenstein and the blockchain law, and we're now following all the regulatory setup globally with a heart and base in Europe, basically with the markets and crypto assets regulation, now MiCA. And there we've also now started to help companies grow. So we do a lot of first-time issuance because we are what's called a token issuer as a regulatory registration. So we can help startups, any blockchain projects to register the token into an ICO the legal way. Second, we do the listing. So we run a spot exchange. Often we are called a hidden champion. We're not the biggest, but it's a good community.
I like that though, hidden champion. I like that.
Yeah, that's what Liechtenstein is also known for. And so good liquidity, organic volumes, euro rails, strong banking partners, all of that. So also if startups and crypto companies do an ICO and a token sale, they need to convert it into euro, Swiss francs, or dollars. And then we help to work with our banking partners to make it happen. I mean, if there's a few $1 million coming on your bank account, they ask you who are the investors, where does it come from?
They need to know,
give them a stamp basically and say, hey, it's done the right way with us, and then they're good to go. And then on top of that, we're like a kind of KYC identity provider. We have price services. And a registration called the physical validator, which is enabling tokenization. So ultimately we're building this ecosystem of crypto integrity. And one more very interesting part is for a lot of projects over here who want to be traded on European exchanges. There's a grace period now, but as of next year, the markets in crypto assets regulation requires everybody as a utility token to have a MiCA compliant white paper, that the white paper had been issued by a regulated CASP, a crypto asset service provider, and then put into the ESMA registry, the regulator in Europe. And we've now submitted more than 50 white papers, including voluntary submissions from Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, and so on, but also for projects now which require to publish this. And so exchanges like Kraken or Coinbase who operate in Europe, they require that for every asset as well. So only who has that can get listed, and you find it on our website. Like you see all the issuance and white papers we've done, and just last week I think had been another 10 being published.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
really going.
It's good. Yeah, we're doing it at a good pace, and following our core mission of combining the traditional finance and crypto.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay, so one thing that's very important that you have to discuss when speaking about an exchange or launching an exchange or really anything about exchanges is privacy and protection of the users. What are some of the things that LCX is doing to ensure this privacy and protection for the users?
Yeah, well, it's not so exciting for the users. We have a crypto compliance suite, so we have to follow from travel rule to the onboarding, everything. we try to get this out of the way as much as possible, that we have a very smooth process and these things are on the back end.
Yeah.
But as said, for if you transfer to banks, if you go from fiat to crypto and the other way around, it is good to have this so that you have a reliable partner where the payments do not get blocked or delayed or something like that. So this is I would say, a key feature of us. And now we do see a lot of inflow from unregulated exchanges, people from European countries who are looking for a reliable partner.
Yeah.
And we don't stop there. So on our expansion plan, we talked about that, I think, on the last Genzio show, is the global expansion, which we have on the roadmap. And there had been lots of progress since then. So we are going full in global markets, from the US to MENA to Asia, and open now like new local companies and a new global holding also.
Yeah, I mean, like for me personally, right, one of the most important things for me is the privacy with my crypto wallet, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever exchange I do choose to use.
Yeah.
It's something very important. And anybody that I do talk to actually that is maybe interested in opening a wallet with an exchange or, utilizing one, their first concern is the safety of it.
Yeah.
Right? So definitely something that is very, very, very important.
Mm. But I mean, the crypto industry very well. What would be your guess? How big is the FX markets, just fiat money trading globally? It's bigger than crypto, but how big? What would be your guess?
Oh man, I don't even know.
So just like FX, only euro, US dollar.
Yeah.
Daily trading volume is 30 times bigger.
Wow.
Than the whole crypto industry trading.
Okay.
So TradFi, how we now say it, has superpowers in terms of volumes, and this is just like fiat money. If you look into commodity trading, oil, energy, let's say gold, precious metals, gold bars, or diamonds or something like that.
Maybe even silver now too. Yeah.
Silver, it's going through the roof, and trading volumes are hundreds of billions every day. The commodity market is even hard to measure.
Yeah.
And just behind us, you see the container ship. So there might be commodities being exported and imported, crude oil tankers going into Singapore and out. These trades are still handled in a very traditional analog way.
Yeah.
So when the ship leaves the port, there's like an escrow, banks transferring it. And then when it arrives, they settle it and things like that. It's so complicated. It might lead that the actual ship is like on anchor for days because the bank didn't settle the payment or something like that. This could be all like streamlined with stablecoins,
exactly.
with crypto, with international trade. And that's where tokenization comes really in. So in terms of evolution, I've been now talking about these phases of the crypto industry, where the first phase is kind of the crypto native stuff, Bitcoin, as a like digital gold we all love. Then the like crypto native assets, utility tokens, like infrastructure players, Ethereum and Cardano and so on. So this is the first phase. Second is the first evolution of like I would say the killer app, right? Stable coins, tokenized money. Let's say still massive or like growing rapidly with Tether, 160 billion or whatever total value locked at the moment. This is like a use case where everybody can understand, also get to know crypto a little bit better. And then the third phase is where it's really outperforming on what we know about crypto. This is the tokenization, future of tokenization, where we could really go into this global trade. And this is hundreds of trillions of dollars potential. Basically, I think everything about global trade will be digitalized and will be put on chain.
I agree. I agree with that statement 100%. And I got to say, I really like your example of the boat.
Yeah.
Like I have my own examples in explaining, the benefits of blockchain technology and that sort of thing. But I really like the one that you just used. And I'm going to take that from you. I will be using that one. I will. Now, one thing we kind of mentioned before we actually started was tokenization. First off, I want to, ask you, with your background, when you were first introduced to the idea of tokenization, what did you think at first?
So, I mean, tokenization is a way of digital transformation.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, I had been like working with companies saying, oh, there's digital transformation. How do we get our e-commerce shop on it? Then there was eBay, then Facebook came along and like mobile internet and things. So I've seen different life cycles of the technology evolution. You always see like how things got to a buzz, a hype, and then comes
Yeah.
to like the valley of tears, and then it goes into kind of a more mass market. And I think we've already been through a couple of bad times and
different phases,
crypto winters. So now it's a time that it's really becoming very useful, and that's where tokenization comes in, because it's a way of digitizing analog processes or processes which are in silos, and to bring it on a global level. So if you want to transfer Singapore dollar to a Swiss bank, it might go through 4 different settlement banks in between, and they might have questions, they might block the payment, and it's not even like if it's 24 hours, you're very lucky, it might take even a couple of days. It's still the case. We're so dependent on the system SWIFT and SEPA, and now it's about control. So like the BRICS countries are now developing their own SWIFT competitor purely on blockchain based, and that's where we see the future is heading. You know?
But I love the word "the future," right? Because one, it is hard to really, tell what is the future to come, right? But at the same time, we can kind of, and manipulate isn't the word I like to use, but almost create our own future with the actions we make in the current moment.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. It is, that next step. Now, for you guys being an exchange, that's a big deal. Now, what are some of the things and hurdles that you had to achieve and get past to get where you're at? Because I'm sure it wasn't a cakewalk.
No, it's not a sprint.
And I'm sure it's still not.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
We're here to stay. We are now celebrated 7 years earlier this year in spring, and we're now thinking about the next 7 years. So also in terms of our community, I think they had been there since the beginning. We built from really the bottom up. So if you see also our utility token development is really from low, and now like we're in a good position. Being listed at Kraken and Coinbase, also have a good community of users. And ultimately, we're thinking about the introduction of our tokenization framework. So how can we enable that growth? Mm-hmm. As I'm a big believer, there needs to be a couple of players enabling that. One is the bridge from physical to digital, which we do with the physical validator. Then the whole tokenization framework, we've done a lot of research, launched a protocol called the Liechtenstein protocol, which enables exactly that. So it's would be the issuance of securities or commodities on chain with a token holder registry, with a whitelisted wallets, with a identity on chain. And now, since we did that, we build on Ethereum. But now there are a lot of other chains, including like Cardano or Solana, which have attractive solutions, which hadn't been there a few years ago. So overall, I see everything that can be tokenized, will be tokenized, and LCX is in the middle of it.
Yeah, and it's happening before our very own eyes, and people don't even realize it. You'll see Starbucks or McDonald's are tokenizing things, and they have incentives like this, or you can even, what was that? There was a walking one or a running one, I think it was called Sweat or something like that. Mm-hmm. You earn tokens while you're using it, and people don't even know that they're using blockchain technology.
What's so exciting is the regulatory landscape is shifting. And it's, I think, very much driven by the Trump administration at the moment, who say, now you can. And let's do crypto and see what we can do. And that's the reason why Cloudflare started to announce their own chain. Stripe is going big in. You said Starbucks, they're doing the loyalty points. You can finally collect the points and trade it like Elon Miles. And this is like breaking up the silos which are here. And if you want to do any financial transactions or like global trade on tokenized assets, it is exactly that like you would need to have a partner in Singapore. You're trading with Africa, you need a local banking partner over there. And this could all like be settled instantly on the press of a button, or like as simple as sending an email. Yeah. And this is what we like to enable. And so part of the, I think, like LCX ecosystem, we started out with tokenization projects. So we incorporated one company called Diamonds, where we tokenized digital diamonds or diamonds, real world diamonds,
Yeah.
put them on chain. And it started out just as a showcase, but it now became an independent company with a whole team. And
It's amazing.
But it's kind of also part of our ecosystem and part of our LCX engagements, or like my personal investment, basically.
Okay, nice. Now, some of the, tendencies of the market, obviously we see up and down, up and down. How does that affect an exchange?
So the more up and down, the better.
That's what
You know, it's like your friend is in Las Vegas. So it's basically the casino's always happy if there's
losers, yeah.
Happy, like trading volume up and down. So as long as there's activity, we're quite happy. But we're also enabling access to new asset classes. Yeah. So we've seen Bitcoin as a new digital gold. And I do see that like there's a currency war currently, which is politically engaged. So, we're living in turbulent times with like the global superpowers rearranging their things. We hear about wars all the time and military drills and everything. So it's unsecurity in the markets. And that's why things like Bitcoin and gold and silver thrive, because people are looking for something secured. And ultimately, it will pressure the US dollar. And we might see like a crisis like back in 1929, Black Monday.
And that's kind of what they're predicting, right?
Another question to you: what's the average time frame or time life cycle of a fiat currency?
80 years.
80.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at,
I'm thinking of all the countries in my mind where they lost or something, and my guess is 80.
Yeah, it's 27 years.
Oh my God.
Average.
Oh no.
So you see, euro is above the 27 now. US dollar, you made it better, obviously. But Argentina, Zimbabwe just imploded. The Turkish lira, super high inflation, 50% per year. So fiat is not as stable as people think. And the more I dived into crypto back then, you learn about what is money and what are really like real world assets and compared to fiat money. And that's where it gets super interesting now, to put in real world assets on chain and enable like gold investments as simple as buying Bitcoin, as simple as transferring US dollar, and that you can like invest in intangible assets to diversify your portfolio and go away from this fiat high inflation topic. And I wonder what's happening with the US dollar. It's really politically super under pressure.
Extremely under pressure. Extremely under pressure. Now I have a good question actually for you. Really, I'm actually excited to hear what you think about this. But, obviously around the world, currency, each country has its own, well, not each country, but, the places have their own currency, which hold their own value, which actually kind of put each country at a different value, of course, in control of the world. Now, is cryptocurrency a threat towards power amongst different countries?
A threat towards humanity. Well, what I know is in my office, I have on the wall a paper bill with 1 billion Zimbabwe dollar.
Wow.
So it is just recently that they printed these because of the hyperinflation in the country. So, and that comes to the war on power and and ultimately, what I also noticed when I've been like building tech companies, if you talk about AI, cloud computing, or like mobile internet back then, or social media, I'd been invited by the CTOs or like large corporates, maybe the CEO or something like that, learning about this. The moment I stepped into crypto, I was invited by the prime ministers, the CEO of a central bank, people who like had been scared about what's going on. And it's exactly what you described. They had been frightened because there's something coming which could take their power away.
Exactly.
But this was, I would say, the early days of crypto. Now they're on board. And we do see, with all the discussions we have with policymakers, they're trying to embrace it. And I think the US is even at the forefront of it right now. They understood that stable coins are an enabler to actually get the US dollar like more mass adoption on a global level, because countries around the world like to have the dollar. And you know, other countries like China might be selling their US Treasury bills to also put US more under pressure. It's like like a economically war
strategic move,
going on. So that's why, like, who will buy the US dollar? And it's a lot of these like emerging markets now jumping in. And what it ultimately tells me, like running an exchange and doing this tokenization framework, and now with total tokenization and Timons, the company, we are like heavily investing into this new infrastructure, which is empowering this. So we are, again, like working with TradFi and CFi and DeFi elements, and bring this together and bridge it and try to really like leverage the technology of blockchain to make a better, like more inclusive financial world for everybody.
It's lovely, man, lovely. Now, for people on the outside looking in on crypto, what is some advice that you would give them before they make their first step? Obviously, you would want them to, you know, use your exchange, of course, but, you know, people that are just interested in getting involved, what would you tell them?
So, first of all, like, it's good to find the right partners. So when you like engage or swap fiat and invest some money, choose the right partners. So LCX and LCX.com is certainly like one of the trusted players in the industry. And then what we always like, we do educational sessions with our community and our clients is, you know, you can use an exchange for transactions, trading. It's easy, it's comfortable to go in and out. But then also it's good that you take, like, if you hodl it or hold it for longer, take it on your own non-custodial wallets and keep it over there. And I think as a crypto community, we're always looking for the next big token, which could do like 1000x or 1000% upside. And that's good. But I also believe that as the industry is maturing, it's interesting to look at these more reliable projects who probably give you like a 5% or 10% return, but a fixed yield. And we now offered a couple of these projects with tokenized bonds. LCX Earn, for example, gave you a 7% yield. And we're now exploring what else we could offer in this direction. And I think that's a good mixture, you know. Be brave and encourage into the new meme coin, but also look into diversify your portfolio.
Yeah. Lovely, man. Well, hey, listen, it has been a fantastic conversation with you. It was an honor. Absolutely lovely. And, you know, not only is insightful, but, you know, just truly remarkable to have this opportunity. I know you mentioned it before earlier on, but where can the folks back home follow you guys?
Yeah, so it's lcx.com and @LCX on X. I think is the best platform. We have a Telegram community, which is with our core LCX community, and I invite everybody to join over there. And then watch out what we have in the lineup with the next couple of weeks and months. There are major announcements coming up, especially in terms of the global expansion, which we
now, can you touch on any of these?
Well, we have been preparing it over the last couple of months, summer months, to have the legal framework with a new global holding, LCX Global, and then kind of different subsidiaries where we take the advantages we had with compliance first and crypto integrity and now roll it out to different other markets. And so then we can also serve more clients, right, in different. We can get greater utility for our LCX token, and we can offer more exciting projects and products around tokenization.
Opening doors for others. I love it, man. Give these guys a follow at LCX. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
How do you know we do not understand that we need to
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.